Hi everyone, I'm Ben, and this is the Board Game Blueprint. This week, we're going to be taking a quick look at some of the other metal miniatures, or minifigs, that are offered on the Game Crafter, this time with a couple of the more monstrous variety. So let's jump on over to the table next door and see what we have in the store. And so I'll go ahead and start off by saying that this video is predominantly going to be the more humanoid monsters that are available on the Game Crafter. The reason why is just because there are so many other cool ones as well. I'm going to make a part 3 to this mini series here, no pun intended. But just for, again, a sense of scale, we're going to start. Here's our brigand with a dagger. This is sort of our main hero that I believe I scaled the rest of them to in comparison for size, about 30 or so millimeters. So we'll put him on the table like this, and we'll go ahead and show off a few of the maybe more generic monsters, or ones that you would normally expect, I think, in a fantasy realm kind of RPG and such. So one of those things is going to be skeleton warriors. Those are usually the undead, very similar to goblins that are kind of your regular baddies. And so we have two of them right here. One of them is wielding a crossbow there, and one of them is wielding an axe over his head, looking pretty fierce actually. Maybe we can get him up a little bit closer to the camera there. So as you can expect, at the same level of detail, you can even like see the toe bones on this guy here. And we have sort of those metal filings again off the edges, so we can just kind of bend those off to clean up a little bit thusly, just like that. So yeah, you can have a whole army of these if you wanted to. I'm sort of seeing like 6 or 7 maybe of each on a tabletop setting, kind of like that, ready to surround the bad guys, or the heroes rather, ready to surround the heroes with their giant army. Another kind of villain that is more popular than I expected are goat people. So the Game Crafter has a whole bunch of molds for these. Here's one with the sword and shield, which is maybe my favorite pose. Here's one with a shield and spear, and as you can kind of see, it's a little bit wonky, so we can sort of get that back into place. Perfect, or just about. And then let me see, as we're looking over this way, we have, I think, another one here. Yes, very good, an archer. Always need that long range to be shooting from afar, absolutely. So in addition to them, we also have, well, what I believe maybe is another Goatman. Let's see, are the horns similar? They are, pretty close. I thought this was a Minotaur at first, but this one's kind of a berserker. He's got 2 swords, which are pretty crazy. And so, yeah, we'll have to just be a little bit more careful when we maybe tear this metal off so we don't actually rip off the sword as well. But for the more actual kind of humans as to discuss, we have this evil paladin that has an awesome skull helmet. There we go, up a little bit closer there. Or maybe that's his face, I can't really tell at this point. But yeah, we have some really cool spike action going on here. There's, again, some scale mail detail going on here and a nice plume up top. So this one looks pretty fierce and probably a worthy rival or combatant to the hero brigand. Yeah, it looks pretty much more beefed up in terms of the armor and just girth, width, breadth, something like that. Now, there's also this, which I can't remember what the name of it is actually. Wearing like another helmet and this giant hammer or maul, which looks pretty sweet. These muscles, yeah, are a lot bigger than anything else that we've seen so far. Maybe it's, yeah, like a barbarian of some sort, and I think maybe those are tusks also. So, whoop, there we go, some kind of crazy goblin creature, or ogre maybe. But there are also some that are a little bit smaller scale. Here's a lich, like some kind of undead sorcerer with a really cool helmet, kind of maybe Japanese inspired there. And so this one looks pretty tiny comparatively to the main hero. Let me see where I just put them down. There we go. Kind of hunched over, and so sort of has a more shaman look to them as well. So maybe this is the guy responsible for creating that skeleton army. And then, of course, we also have a ghoul, or some kind of evil reaper type of figure, which is kind of similar as well in that same scale that we just saw for that lich or necromancer type character. There we are. Looking pretty dastardly. And the other cool thing for this one especially is sort of like that tattered rope and ethereal feel that you get going on with all that wavy sort of extrusion, or however these pieces are manufactured. Now, I'm going to show off a couple more interesting ones here. And the reason why I say that is just because there are maybe kind of multiple pieces to them as well. So here is a Beastmaster. I don't know what kind of creature this is. It's like some kind of wargish thing, but like crocodilian as well. So yeah, again, have no idea what it's called, but we have a handler on this one who's holding it off. So this base is a lot larger than the normal miniatures one there. And if we, just put it up here for scale, and here's our little J-Teeple as well. Let's try to get a gauge on how large these are. There's kind of that going on here. We also have, this is a honking guy right there. Huge, heavily armored, this giant greatsword, which is totally awesome. Ready, or rearing in for an attack, almost kind of in a battle stance, just running, in to the action already, which is really cool. Kind of reminds me of Shrek a little bit from the original movie there. Perfect. And then we also have, I said Grim Reaper. This one might be it. It's got a square base, which is a little bit different, this large flowing cloak, and then this sweet, sweet scythe, which looks just fantastic. So very imposing, could be a guardian character of some kind of tomb, etc. And there we go for that one. Now, here's something pretty cool. This is a two-headed ogre. Again, a super large base, not as large as the Beastmaster one per se. Oop, there we go. Try to get that in the shot there. But yes, two heads, a giant cleaver in one hand, and it's got this outstretched arm. Now the reason why is because it actually comes with two accessories that you can pop off and then I guess have him hold. I'm not sure how well it actually sits in that hand there, but you have a maiden or damsel in distress kind of, and then you also have this ham hock or lamb chop or something. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to take that off on camera here. So just kind of bending back and forth until it loosens up. Very nice. And then there's that little file or kind of shred that we can just sort of also bend off. There we go. And let's see if we can get this guy to hold it. Okay, so not quite this way, but maybe, yeah, there we go. So it's not like a perfect fit per se, but it does rest in there nice and easy, and as long as you don't move it too crazy, I think it'll just kind of sit there, which is a sweet effect, adding a lot more life into this character. The ability to customize makes it even cooler than it was before. And so really quick, I want to make a shout out to N20 Games, or give a shout out to them for their comments about maybe where these miniatures are from. They looked a little familiar, and they could be from the game Ral Partha or Grenadier. So maybe that's where they've come from, which is really cool to think about. In that the game crafter has, been able to source them and make them available to game designers to use for their games. So we have just a couple more to go over with that break, and one of them is going to be this really cool Dwarven Golem. Let's see, there we go. And so this one looks really sweet. At first when I saw it, I didn't even think it was fantasy themed. It does have maybe some giant lug nuts and chains on there, but it's got some really cool detail, and again, as you can expect from all these other pieces, there we go, very hefty in stature and weight. So this one also comes in multiple pieces. It has these big old arms or hands that we're gonna pop off really quick. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. I think I like the spin tactic the most here. And there we go. We'll take this off here, this little edge clipping there. Very nice. And so I thought that these were actually gonna snap in easily. And that is not exactly the case. What it looks like we're going to end up having to do is, you can sort of see where it belongs, there's that divot right there, is going to be using just kind of some kind of super glue, or maybe a special metal glue. We'll have to see maybe what the internet recommends for how to put these together. But there will be some assembly required, as it turns out, but totally worth it. So maybe what we can do is just show off all these miniatures or models that have that extra step required at the end of the video. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and place them off to the side here, or I should say along with the miniature, and move on to the next one. I believe, let's see, if we have one or two left over. You know what? We have just one final model of this humanoid type to go over, and so that one is going to be a large monster. There is this behemoth over here, super scaly, and the face kind of looks like some sort of merman to me. You can see the fangs and the eyes right there. There's huge nostrils too. Some evil swamp creature maybe. But there's also, these big old armpits. And the reason why is because it comes with 2 extra arms to add on. Holy cow. Got, these sort of hooves for feet there, giant chest, and back ridges and forearm spikes as well. So actually, you know, it stands on its own as a complete model in and of itself, really. But to add extra detail, you can add on, yeah, these extra arms to it also. The cool thing about this, the modularity, is that maybe during the game, well, if it wasn't quite glued on, you could actually break the pieces off, or maybe you do it anyway, sort of like a legacy mechanic, where as the heroes are fighting and battling the creature, weakening it, you can pop one of these arms off of it to just illustrate that, like a critical hit would, yeah, chop off one of the arms, which would be really, really fun, I think. So let's see, there we go. There's this, and then this looks kind of like a tooth, so maybe it could be a trophy of some kind. I don't know if you want to keep the scraps of these for future use, for later use, but yeah, the idea here, I think, is that it'll kind of go like this and actually be jutting out perhaps towards the audience, or players, I should say, in a sort of Z-axis kind of formation there. And then, yep, similar case with this one, or you can bend it downwards before you glue it on, or maybe also upwards. It's, yeah, really up to you at this point. From what I can tell, yeah, there's no not rhyme or reason, but there's no specific configuration for these pieces, so you're free to do however you like. And I am pretty excited about that idea. Maybe, I don't know if there's very super small magnets that you could actually append onto the models, and then that would also allow you to quickly and easily switch them out, or pop them off, rather, for your gameplay. But on its own, that is really awesome too. It also comes with a few weapons. I'm not sure which hands would be able to hold them. Maybe it is these accessory hands, kind of, yeah, again, as you rest them after they've been popped off or something like that. But yeah, we have this large spear, and then also kind of this double bladed or quadruple bladed weapon. I've never seen that before. So anything is possible in a fantasy world, and with these miniatures, you can really make that world even more real. So lastly, yeah, we'll just kind of point out the standard 28 to 30, 32 millimeter miniature here, as well as our J-Teeple, and then see, yeah, how all of these humanoid figures kind of stack up. Perfect. Whoa. And there's the whole gang, all up next to each other, ready to be part of your next inspired campaign. I hope you enjoyed this part 2 look at some of those metal minifigs that the Game Crafter has to offer, and that you can find a use for them in one of your designs very soon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on future content like this. As always, I'm Ben. This has been another episode of the Board Game Blueprint, and together, let's build something great.